So, NYC public schools ask parents to reflect on their whiteness. They basically made a chart for public schools in New York, and I'm just gonna go over the chart. It is probably the most ridiculous chart anyone could, of course. I mean, it's just absurd, So it's basically 8 white identities, and these are the identities. You have the white supremacist, the white voyeurism, the white privilege, the white benefit, the white confessional, the white critical, the white traitor, and of course the white abolitionist. So I assume the white abolitionist is the one that is extremely woke, the progressive white individuals that are saying, I have white fragility, I have a lot of white privilege, I need to be punished, I am guilty, I have privilege and all of that. And it's probably the most annoying thing, of course, because it's also very racist at the end of the day. It's basically assuming that white individuals, anyone that has a white skin color, is superior, apparently, when they are not. And if we keep teaching this to our kids, they will have low self-esteem, they'll have a nihilistic mentality, and of course it'll be counterproductive for the well-being, and most importantly when it comes to academic success. Because what the kids are going to have is, well, why should I even try? Why should I even try? Because I am oppressed. There is privilege that they have and I don't have that. So, we're just teaching them depression, we're teaching them to be nihilistic and to not be optimistic. And we're putting down our kids, really. And I'll just read part of what the New York Post posted, and they basically stated this: a city public school principal is asking parents to reflect on their whiteness, passing out literature that extols white traitors who dismantle institutions, education officials confirmed to the Post on Tuesday. The woke offensive at the Eastside Community School in Manhattan features a ranking list titled The 8 White Identities, which ranges from white supremacists to white abolitionists. The curriculum, written by Barner Hess, an associate professor in African American Studies at Northwestern University in Illinois, claims there's a regime of whiteness and there are action-oriented white identities. People who identify with whiteness are one of these, Hess writes above the 8-point list. It's about time we build an ethnography of whiteness, since white people have been the ones writing about and governing others. Well, first of all, governing others, I do not understand what he's basically saying, because at the end of the day, we have had different people govern different states, different cities, and we also had President Obama, for 8 years. We have a Hispanic senator in the state of Texas, a Hispanic senator in the state of Florida. We live in a very diverse time in American history, and of course they like to push this idea that the white people are still in charge. They're oppressing us. We live in Jim Crow era, and which is not true, because we have affirmative action. We have scholarships for black students. We have equity programs. We have all of this. And yet they still push this garbage. And this garbage is just going to indoctrinate our kids. It's not going to improve our schools. It's just a political ideology that is, of course, toxic to the minds of a lot of students, and most importantly to the teachers. So this 8 White Identities by Barner Hess, first of all, there's no study to back this up. It is a professor, it is an individual that decided to come up with an ideology, a woke compass, a woke chart that has no backing from science, that has no backing from research whatsoever. And he just decided to make this because, of course, the white man is evil. They're all evil and they all have privilege. First of all, in this country, we don't have race privilege. What we have is economic privilege. We have individuals that have more resources. We have individuals that are born that way. Economic problems is a bigger issue than race. And pushing this in schools, I'm not surprised that Biden is, of course, implementing this. And the sad thing is, we should expect more, more of this in LA and New York and Dallas, and a lot of public schools and a lot of independent school districts. The sad reality is we're going to have to experience more of this because the left has been emboldened. They'll get more money. Then they're going to pass, critical race theory classes, thinking, oh, this is helping our students. If you want to help the Hispanic and the Black community, what you need to do is implement entrepreneurship opportunities, and most importantly, teaching them that mindset that they can do it. They can be successful as well. What we're instead teaching our kids is that, oh, they won't be successful whatsoever, because America is such an evil, racist place. A lot of people flock to this country. A lot of people, they have the internet, they have electricity, they have gas, they have a lot of resources, and yet they are pushing this garbage because at the end of the day, the left, they want to restructure America. And they're doing it with education, and that's why I have emphasized significantly in getting more Republicans to run for school board. Getting them to be superintendents, to be teachers, to be principals. We need to get involved because what's happening is Republicans, they say, oh, why should I get involved? The left has taken over. I'm going to go to private schools. They're going to private schools as well. They're going to charter schools as well. And what are we going to do? Oh, the private schools, it's mostly liberal now. I'm just going to homeschool. Is that what we're going to do? Is that the strategy? It's just, hop and hop, abandon, and of course not tackle the issue, not get involved because we're too afraid. When we should not be afraid. We should get involved. We should run. And involvement is how we will stop this spread, and most importantly, in making sure that kids have a diversification of ideas, because if we don't have that, then of course our kids will be indoctrinated. So I just hope the parents see this and they start realizing, this is pure nonsense. It has nothing to do with education. It has nothing to do with improving maybe the test scores that certain groups are struggling with, and improving academic performance in ISDs and schools and areas. So I just hope the parents and the communities wake up and realize this is pure nonsense.